Rodeo is America's original extreme sport, with its roots coming from the Old West when ranch hands challenged each other for bragging rights on who was the best cowboy. Circuit cowboys are the weekend warriors of rodeo. Regular Joes with regular jobs. But come Friday, they pack up and head out to compete in circuit rodeos. Not only for paychecks, but for the same bragging rights that started years ago.
In 2004 world champion steer wrestler Luke Branquino. We told you the competition was going to be awesome, and it is here at the Texas Circuit Finals. Tonight is the final championship round, and it's really heating up.
It sure is. Zach Dishman and Chris Harris are struggling it out trying to get a trip to Pocatello in the bareback riding. Chris Bradley and Craig Cavanis fighting it out in the steer wrestling, but Todd Rangel in the saddle bronc riding, I think it's his to lose right now.
This is where we decide who gets to go on to Pocatello, Idaho, and a shot at a national championship. Come on, let's go rodeo.
It's bareback time, and this is the final championship round. Take a look at the scores after 2 rounds. Total on 2, Zach Dishman is number 1.
That's right. Right behind him, Chris Harris, 162, Wes Stevenson, 161, and J.D. Garrett at 160.
Let's go to them, boys. Rules of the ride.
Bareback riding is the most physically demanding of any rodeo event. The cowboy uses a bareback rigging, which has a suitcase-type handle attached to a rigid leather body. The rigging and a required pad is placed on the horse just like a saddle near the horse's withers. The cowboy works his gloved hand into the rigging to get his proper and preferred grip, called the bind. When all is right, he nods his head to indicate that he's ready for the shoot-o. A successful ride is for an entire 8 seconds, while the cowboy works to maintain body control and rhythmic spurring action atop an animal athlete that's determined to buck him off. A cowboy will receive a no score if he's bucked off before the 8-second buzzer, touches the animal with his free hand, or fails to mark the horse out.
All right, I hope you brought your riding pants tonight, because if you're entered in the bareback riding, you're going to have a handful. Evan Jane, Marseille, France. It's the Frenchman and a classic bucking horse called Wet Willie.
This is a good horse. Really kind of goes out there and bucks hard, ducks back to the right there, gets him tipped over. Oh, he might have got him with his free hand, though, right there. They're going to throw a flag on him, and he'll probably be a no score.
Yep, they started making their moves, the judges, that is, right at that point where he was throwing that dirty little move on him. And I'm afraid, let's see if we can see it, I'm afraid he reached down with that left hand and slapped that rigging.
You know, that horse really got him and tipped into his hand, and then he reached over, tried to get himself back to the middle of that horse, and he slapped him with his free hand. That results in a no score.
That's rough. You know, Scotty Lovelace and family, they put together a great pen of horses, and you've got to have a couple of those kind as well. I mean, they all can't just be hoppers. You got to have some of the old illuminators. Austin Griffith, Alfred, Texas. He was 82 in the second round, not bad. Great classic horse called Four of a Kind. This is probably the one I'd want to have if I was in this round here.
This is a nice horse. Look how he just jumps out there, sets up, bucks, and kicks. You know, he's good on, too. If he could be in the 80s here, he might have a chance at that aggregate title.
You know, watch the front feet on this bucking horse. They probably don't ever hardly get more than 8 or 10 inches off the ground, maybe a foot. But that just shows how athletic the horse is. Not covering much ground. And you've got to have quick feet when a horse does that.
That's right, and right here, Austin does a great job. Look how his toes are turned out. His spur stroke's getting longer. You know, he's getting it up to his rigging and then back down to the points of the shoulders. He does a good job riding this horse right here.
You bet. Nice job. They'll team up and shake hands with an 80-point ride, 80 points. And Craig Gatlin from Whitney, Texas is next to go. We'll go back to the Sammy Andrews herd of horses, Lock and Load. This is a nice horse as well, and this is a half-brother to that award-winning horse, Roly Poly, that's gotten hurt.
Wow, this horse is really bucking good. You know, he was 79 on his first one, bucked off his second one, making a great ride. That horse kind of stutter-stepped right there and got him out of time, you know, lost his rhythm right there. Hopefully he'll be a few points. You know, bucking off his second horse, he's not going to have a chance to place in the aggregate.
That is a horse that all the bareback riders like. If you watch the replay, just not a dishonest move in that horse whatsoever. Just straight out, raked down the pin, kind of took a little bit of a turn to the left. The only problem was when you mentioned that little stutter step that kind of threw him off just a hair.
Yeah, because right there his spur stroke's good. He's really riding that horse well. Right about here, right there, you can see it. You know, he gets out of rhythm with that horse, and that probably cost him some points.
Well, 3 or 4 points might have helped him move to the lead, and that's exactly what it's not going to do. 77 points for Craig, and now to the young gun, Clint Cannon. This is a little mare, but very electric from Sammy Andrews as well. One of his campaigners in the herd.
You know, 79 on his first one, 77 on his second one. This guy rides really good, and you can see how aggressive he is with his feet right here. That horse just a horse, not an eliminator. You know, he's going to let him cover him. He'll probably be in the 70s. That was a good ride.
You know, she just tries her guts out. You can see that every time she bucks the same, and you just can count on that horse to get you to the pay window if you do your job. And the score's rolling in. It's a 77-point ride. He's got a smile on. But slow down, take another look at it. Watch her trying.
But like I said, you know, this horse is a good horse. Nothing wrong with her. Just a horse, you know, not really explosive, but she is trying hard, and 77 points goes good with another 77 and a 79.
What we'll try to do is add up all the scores. If you've rode 3 head of bucking horses in the Barebacks or the Broncs or the Bulls, that's what can get you to the aggregate championship and on to Pocatello, Idaho for the National Circuit Finals Rodeo. Zach Dishman, here is one that's already been to that National Circuit Finals in a Stay Smith horse called Kid Rock.
That horse was kind of bucking out of line right there. You know, he was 78 on his second one, won first on his first with an 86. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of score comes up here, see if it'll help him out in the aggregate.
Now, Zach Dishman comes into this round number 1 in the average with 164 points on 2 head. It says something. It says something about that young man that only in just a couple of years, 3 years, he's moved up into the top 30 in the world standings of our Cowboys nationwide. That's out of 5,000 plus contestants.
You know, that horse right there was hard for Zach to ride. Come out, spun to the left. It's hard to get your rhythm down. You know, he's not going to be as many points as he wants, 76. You know, that's probably going to move him down a couple spots in that average.
Oh, boy, that was a little disappointing. Let's go to the wild man from Louisiana, James Boudreau, now of Cuero, Texas, and a classic bucking horse called White River. Again, James, 6 times to our national finals. He's just one of the most consistent bareback riders going down the road.
You know, that's right. And James bucked off last night, and like I said, he's going to come out and try to win this third go-around. And he was really going after this horse right here. That horse is really strong and powerful. You can see how long strided he is, but that makes the Cowboy really have to lift on his rigging and get his feet set down there. And if the judges see him do that, they're going to give him points for it.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because this is the third and final round. This is your last shot to try and get a little piece of the money. So I know going through their mind, it doesn't matter what event you're in here tonight, a lot of contestants will be just throwing caution to the wind, doing all they can to get number 1 spot in the round.
Yep, that's right. You can see right there in the slow motion, James is trying everything he can to try to win first. 82 points.
Hey, not bad.
That's going to move him to number 1 right now.
Good job, buddy. Good job. We've got a lot more bareback riding coming your way. Stick around. We'll be right back after these messages.